People walked in and never came out. This forest doesn't give second chances. Imagine a place in America where people just vanish. No warning, no trace, no explanation. 5 people disappeared in the same remote area of Vermont between 1945 and 1950. A stretch of wilderness so mysterious, it's been called the Bennington Triangle, and yet most Americans have never even heard of it. This isn't just some internet myth or a creepy campfire tale. These are real cases, real people who walked into the woods and never came back. No blood, no bodies, no goodbye. Our story starts in the southern part of Vermont. Deep in Bennington County sits Glastenbury Mountain, surrounded by dense forest, jagged trails, and a history that locals say is darker than most want to admit. Long before the disappearances, Native American tribes in the area refused to settle on the mountain. They believed the land was cursed. In fact, they described the area as a place where the earth was wrong. They avoided it at all costs. Some said the spirits there were restless. Others believed the mountain hid something, not a myth, not a legend, but a force, something alive. In the 1800s, Glastenbury had been a small logging town. But as the timber dried up and the railways shut down, the area was slowly abandoned. By the early 1900s, Glastenbury was a ghost town, literally. And by the mid-1940s, people started disappearing. The first case was in November 1945. Mitty Rivers, a 74-year-old local, was guiding a hunting party through the mountains. Despite his age, Mitty was no amateur. He knew those woods better than most. He'd hunted there for decades. People trusted him. On that particular day, Mitty walked ahead of the group, scouting the trail like he always did. But then, he was gone. The group waited. Then they searched. But Mitty never returned. Search teams combed the forest. They looked under every fallen tree, behind every boulder, in every stream. Helicopters were brought in. Dogs were used. The only thing they found was a single rifle cartridge, right where he'd last been seen. No footprints, no sign of struggle. He just vanished. People were shaken, but some figured maybe it was an accident. Maybe he fell into a ravine or got hurt and couldn't call for help. But the next disappearance would raise far more questions than answers. Fast forward to December 1st, 1946, just 1 year later. Paula Welden, an 18-year-old college student at Bennington College, tells her roommate she's going for a walk on the long trail. It's a popular hiking path that runs right through the same region, through the heart of the Bennington Triangle. She puts on her red jacket, jeans, and sneakers, and heads out. Multiple people saw her that afternoon. A couple gave her directions to the trail. An older man hiking behind her said she was just ahead of him until she rounded a bend and was never seen again. That was the last time Paula Welden was spotted by anyone. When she didn't come home, her friends reported her missing. The response was huge. State police, local search teams, volunteers, even the FBI joined the search. Planes scanned the woods from above. Dogs tracked scents on the ground. Her story hit national news, and yet no trace. Not a shoe, not a backpack, not a thread from her red coat. It's as if she was erased from the forest. Paula's case caused outrage. How could a healthy, active young woman disappear just minutes from her college? The pressure from the public was so intense that the state of Vermont ended up creating its own state police force, because it didn't even have one at the time. And then, as if things couldn't get any more bizarre, it happened again. In December 1949, a man named James Tedford boarded a bus to return to his home at the Bennington Soldiers' Home. He was a 68-year-old war veteran, quiet, routine-oriented, nothing out of the ordinary. He'd gone to visit family in St. Albans and was now heading back. He was seen on the bus by multiple witnesses. They remembered him sitting quietly, minding his own business. He was still there after the last stop before Bennington. But when the bus pulled into town, James was gone. His luggage was still on the rack. His timetable and bus ticket were still in his coat pocket. His seat was still warm. But the man himself? Gone. No one saw him leave. No one saw anything strange. He had simply vanished during the ride. Let that sink in. He disappeared while on a moving bus, surrounded by passengers, without a sound. How is that even possible? That made 3 people in just 4 years, all vanishing in the same 10-mile radius. No connections, no motives, no signs, just gone. Local newspapers started calling it a cursed zone. Whispers spread of something hiding in the woods, something watching. The idea of a Bennington Triangle took hold, inspired by the Bermuda Triangle. People were afraid to hike alone. Hunters stopped going deep into the forest. The air around Glastenbury began to feel off. Some residents even reported hearing strange noises at night, humming, metallic sounds, voices calling from the trees. A few claimed they saw lights in the sky. UFO stories started popping up. Others brought up old native legends, stories of a creature in the woods, something that could stalk you silently and take you without leaving a trace. By 1950, the fear in the region was very real. And as you'll see in part 2, it wasn't over. The Triangle would take 2 more victims, and in one of those cases, a body was finally found. But that only made the mystery worse. For now, here's what we know. Mitty Rivers, Paula Welden, James Tedford, all vanished, all in the same zone, all without a trace, and no one has ever found an answer. There's something deeply unsettling about how people can just disappear like that. These weren't careless wanderers. They were experienced, careful, alert, and still, the forest took them. What's really going on in the Bennington Triangle? Is it just bad luck? Or is something else hiding out there? One thing is certain. The story isn't over yet.